You are Locked On Rockets Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Houston on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
There have been a lot of things said about the Houston Rockets' ability to win big games against the best teams in the league. And tonight they put one of those narratives to bed because they went out there in an important game, a huge game down the stretch. They are fighting for their lives for the 2 seed in the Western Conference. And they went out there and took care of the Oklahoma City Thunder at home. And they did it in pretty dominant fashion for almost the entire night against the West's best team, and a team that is on pace to have one of the top 10 records in NBA history in a regular season. Hello and welcome tonight to the Locked On Rockets Postcast after a huge win over those OKC Thunder. I'm your host, Michael Connor. Appreciate you guys stopping by and saying hello. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The Rockets, the 125-111 victory. Today's episode of the Locked On Rockets Postcast is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. We got a lot to get into, a lot of questions that I have to ask you guys, that I have to ask myself as well. Like that very first one. Was this the biggest win of the year? Throw it into the comments if you think that. We'll talk again about creeping towards that 2 seed, just how important it is, and something that I absolutely loved more than anything in this game, and we're going to start right there tonight.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Tonight, for me, the turning point in this game was how the Rockets came out in terms of intensity. The intensity tonight was fantastic. They played this game. You could tell they have had some serious conversations with their head coach, who's a very serious man, and his staff. And they played this game like it was a playoff game tonight. They have to play it that way. Of course, if you're a casual observer of the NBA, you would prefer that teams play that way every single night. But, you know, you're not going to get that in the middle of the dog days of the season. I understand that. They're human beings. I really thought, basically from the jump, the intensity tonight matched everything that you needed. And really, to me, that was in the first couple of minutes of the game. They came out bang. They came out and they got points on the board. They came out, they made some defensive stops. They came out and they looked like they were into all the important things from the jump. It was unbelievable. I was so impressed with what they went out there and did tonight in terms of how they played. And if you play with that kind of mindset all the time, and look, that's what here's a shocking revelation. That's the mindset you're going to have to play in, the intensity that you're going to have to play with in the playoffs. But if you play like that, again, for all the noise that gets said about the Rockets, because look, on the outside looking in, nobody is going to believe in this team, right? They don't have national respect. You should not care. I do not care about what the blabbering idiots over at the 4-letter network are saying on the yelling shows in the morning and having no idea what they're talking about. I just don't. Don't have a care for it in the world. I think the only national person I've heard from this year that I respected in what they said and liked what they said, because I thought it was always fair, and what a shock. It's a guy who used to play for them, and it wasn't even like from a standpoint of, you know, loving all over them. But like when I would listen to Kenny Smith talk about the Rockets, you could tell he's paid attention to what they're doing. He's watching what they're doing. No, everybody else, they don't care. They're not watching. That's fine. Don't get caught up in that noise. Get caught up in what you watch. And what you watched tonight was the fact that this team went out there in a situation where they have to have the win, right? They have to have this win. This is a game, you know, the magic number coming into this one tonight to clinch the 2 seed in the West was 3. It's down to 2 now. But they had to have that. And they played that way. And they had to have that from the standpoint of that was a home game on top of it. You can't lose home games in these situations. They only have one more home game after tonight. They go on the road now. 3 games out in California against 3 teams that are chasing them. Now, Golden State's not going to get there. The Lakers probably not going to get there, but they have a chance. The Clippers definitely aren't, but you think that they'd probably prefer to jump up a little bit if they can. So they're playing for every one of those teams. Every team down the stretch they're playing is playing for something. And if you could put to bed the 2 seed now, before it gets to that final game against Denver, that's a lot of stress just kind of pushed to the side. It was a great game tonight. I mean, I've had a lot of fun watching this team this season. There's been a lot of fun games. I asked that question. Was it the biggest win of the year? I think you could probably make that argument. I think you'd also make the argument that was the most fun, enjoyable watch that we've had this season. As that brings us to...
This is what you'll be talking about.
Outside of those things that I just said, the intensity and playing that way from the jump tonight, I think the thing that you're going to walk away from this game specifically on what you're talking about more than anything else is something that has kind of eluded the Rockets at times this season. Now, look, we're not going to mistake it by any means. They don't have a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I can never say his name. They don't have an Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, on their team. By the way, tonight, the Rockets did a great job of keeping him very neutral. 22 points, barely got to the free throw line, one trip to the free throw line. It's insane. The free throw merchant stayed away from the line. Jalen Williams had a great night for them. But if you're the Rockets, you'd rather Jalen Williams beat you than SGA, because SGA is a guy who can go off for 50, 60 points. The Rockets don't have one of those guys. I'm not saying they don't have great scorers. They do. But here's what they haven't had, I think, on many occasions this season. They haven't had nights like tonight where, they know that they got to get this win and they know what they've got to do. And their two most talented offensive players, Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun, both went out there tonight and played like the players that they're supposed to be on this team. They played like the guys that are supposed to lead the team in scoring. And that was massive to me. To see that in a game where it matched the intensity, to see the intensity from both and to see them both step up when they needed to have that is a huge boost of confidence. I think it has to be for everybody. Alpy tonight, 31 points, 11 of 21 from the field, 9 of 12 from the free throw line, which is awesome. The only crazy thing about his night, I don't know how this is possible. I shouldn't say I don't know how. It's because he had Steven Adams out there with him, which you love the big on big lineup. I think it's going to get a lot more run when we see playoff time, especially depending on matchup. 31 points for Alpy, like I mentioned, only had 2 rebounds. What? 2 rebounds. Had 4 assists as well, 3 steals. He was fantastic. And then Jalen Green, like I mentioned, 34 points, 11 of 24 from the field, 3 of 10 from 3. Not spectacular, but okay. 9 of 10 from the line, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, and a couple of steals for Jalen Knight, and a block shot. He was tremendous. But those guys went out there, and they played like the lead dogs offensively that this team needs them to play like. And not that when the Rockets go out there in the playoffs, are they going to need these guys to go out and score 35 plus a night or 30 plus points a night? That's not what I'm saying by any means. But they need those guys to be minimum 20-point a night guys in the playoffs. And when the game slows down and bogs down in the postseason, we've seen it in the past. Alpy's going to be a huge, huge piece in that half court to get that ball down and hopefully work it down there. And I think getting some, you relieve some of the pressure on him when you have Steven Adams out there with him. Not because Steven Adams is a scorer, but because Steven Adams is taking up the other big. And Alpy can exploit. I mean, he exploited Chet Holmgren tonight on multiple occasions. He exploited basically everybody tonight. He put people on skates all night long. He was tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. And the same goes for Jalen Green. And they both went off in the second half in winning time. Because look, it got a little sketchy there for a couple times. I mean, the Rockets let that lead get down to 12. And they went with the small ball lineup, which I liked a lot. And they ran it back up to 20. And then it got back down to 12. And then, OKC hung around. And then in the crunch time, those guys stepped up. Jalen Green in the second half tonight had 20. Alpi had 12. So 32 of your 56 second half points come from those two guys stepping up in the biggest of moments. Love to see it for the Rockets. So the debate now is who's going to walk away with player of the game? Or could it be both? I'll tell you here in a brief second on the Locked On Rockets Postcast. Right now, though, I'll tell you about 5-hour energy. Daylight savings time snuck up on us again, and if you're feeling that lost hour of sleep, 5-hour energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun, but sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late watching the NCAA tournament, squeezing in a round of golf after work, or just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5-hour energy gives you that quick, refreshing pick-me-up whenever you need it. Look, like I said, longer days, you love getting outside, you love doing something out there. Why not do what I do and try the Tropical Burst? It's my absolute go-to for a quick boost. Head to 5hourenergy.com to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, and peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab a 5-hour energy shot at your local grocery store or convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized. One more message before we get back to our discussion on the Rockets. Huge win tonight over the Oklahoma City Thunder. NCAA tournament is here, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters. Cinderella stories are over, but you can still do that when it comes back, and even who's cutting down the nets. Look, at this point, you know the 4 teams that are in it this weekend, including those Cougs. It's for my Cougs out there. I'm not a Coug, but I'm giving you look at that right there. Why don't you get on FanDuel and show the Cougs some love? The app is easy and simple to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no waiting around. Visit FanDuel.com and get in on the college hoops action all tournament long. Rockets' huge win tonight over the Oklahoma City Thunder, and we are talking about it here on the Locked On Rockets Postcast. After I take a sip of water, of course, because I'm parched. I'm your host, Michael Connor. Thank you for joining me here live on your Friday night. Make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button for this channel. We, of course, are with you after all the games here for the Rockets on this channel. If you're looking for me tomorrow when it comes to Astros coverage, head over to the Locked On Astros YouTube page. Hit subscribe. I am live on that channel for Astros Postcast tomorrow. They are back in action tomorrow afternoon against the Minnesota Twins. We'll have the postcast for that when it wraps up. Rockets tonight, huge win over the OKC Thunder. Win number 51 of the season. Doing it in darn impressive fashion. I mean, really just dominating quite a bit of the basketball game tonight. 125-111. The Rockets now 4 games remaining on the season. The magic number to clinch the 2 seed in the Western Conference is down to 2. They are heading out on the road now. They have currently a 2.5 game lead over the Denver Nuggets, who are the 3 seed in the Western Conference. And as I'm looking for this, Denver is playing Golden State as we're doing this show. They're actually beating Golden State at the moment, 44-36. Just kicked off the second quarter there, so Denver's off to a hot start in that one. We'll see if Golden State can help the Rockets out. You know, it is what it is. But one step closer, and no, right here, real quick, for you purple and gold Minnesota Vikings. No, they have not secured the 2nd seed. They have secured the playoffs. That is what they have secured. They have secured that they are in the playoffs, not the play-in. They are 1 away, 2 wins away from securing the 2nd seed in the Western Conference. The question tonight is, I gave you those 2 guys that played their butts off. The Rockets needed to do that tonight and really showed me something. Who gets the honor?
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
I can't give it to just one. What a shock, right? Man, I'm the worst. Yes, it's split. It's co-player of the games tonight. It's Jalen Green and it's Alperen Şengün. Both guys over 30. The Rockets, by the way, have only lost one game this season when Jalen scores over 30 points. Now, if I was a good show host, I would have remembered to pull that up a few minutes ago, but I forgot to do that to see how many times he's done that this season. I'm going to try and do it on the fly because that is what I do here on this show. But just one loss when he has scored 30 or more this season. So, look, I'm a man that likes numbers and percentages, and that tells me that go ahead and score 30 in every playoff game. The Rockets will go undefeated all the way. That was his 14th game with 30 or more. So the Rockets are 13-1 when Jalen scores 30 or more in a game this season. Now, off to California. 3 games. Sunday, Wednesday, Friday. Long trip out to the West Coast. They're leaving town right when the good weather's supposed to be here too. They'll probably get great weather in California. Sunday night in San Francisco, taking on the Golden State Warriors. Big one. I think the first 2 games of this road trip are the games you need to go get. Golden State on Sunday, Wednesday against the Clippers in the crazy dome that they have, which is actually working for them. Get those first 2. Don't let the Lakers game or the Nuggets game even matter at that point. Not that you won't play for them or play hard in them, but just I prefer them to not matter. Let me be greedy. Of course, again, after the game on Sunday night, we will be with you live as soon as it wraps up here on the Locked On Rockets Postcast. Don't forget again to join me tomorrow on the Locked On Astros Postcast over on the Locked On Astros YouTube page. Hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday night. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. And, of course, talk to you next time on the Locked On Rockets Postcast.